Good afternoon, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Imtiaz Mukul. I'm the executive editor of Travel Impact Newswire. I am also a life member of the club and a member of the programs committee. So a warm welcome this evening. Can I just get my slides up, please? Next slide. Thank you. Just a quick commercial for the club. We are the Foreign Correspondents Club is proud to be the largest, oldest, and the most active foreign correspondence club in Asia. It is a unique, and I repeat, a unique platform for free, open, and very importantly, respectful discussion, debate, and dissent. We have numerous programs here several times a week on multiple issues related to Thai, Asian, ASEAN, and Asia Pacific economy, society, culture. You will find it a wonderful platform for getting a broad, big picture coverage of what's going on in this part of the world and how it affects the rest of the world. Next slide, I think that most of the our correspondents over the years have actually played a very important role in not just shaping the history of ASEAN and beyond, but we have also played a very important role due to our connection with the growth of the travel and tourism industry. I think many of you do not know, actually, over the years that after the Vietnam War ended and many of the correspondents came and relocated to Thailand, we had several correspondents who used to write for the travel publications, travel sections of many international newspapers. Dennis Gray, who used to work for the Associated Press, wrote under a pen name for Sawadhi magazine for years, along with his photographer colleague John Everingham. The Barbara Crosset, who was a bureau chief of the New York Times, also based in Bangkok, used to write for the travel section of the New York Times. And our very own Dominic Fowler, who's sitting there at the back, he was in his early years over here. He was a correspondent for Travel News Asia before he went on to bigger things. So I think I'd like to claim that the Correspondence Club has played a pretty important role in shaping not just the Asia Pacific, the developments in this part of the world, but also the travel and tourism industry. Next slide. We are also proud over the years to have welcomed some very important travel industry personalities who have used us for numerous sessions and on the ups and downs of travel and tourism over the years. We have had former governor of the Tourism Authority of Thailand, Governor Surapon here, the former president of TCEB, the Thailand Convention and Exhibition Bureau, Kun Akapon, the former president of Thai Airways International, Kun Priyasawat, who also came here in his early days. Former tourism minister Kun Kop Khan was also here. So we have had a whole string of very important personalities over the last few decades come here regularly and speak to us on issues related to travel and tourism. Next slide, I'd like to also urge all those who are watching today, also on Facebook as well as everyone here, that really this is a perfect platform for holding numerous travel industry related events, product launches, press conferences. Multiple advantages. It's a great place for networking with the media. It's got easy access and location via the SkyTrain. You can get publicity via our FCCT bulletin. The event can be live streamed, and also really it's great value for money as against trying to reach the army of influencers and bloggers. I think you get a lot more intellectual value here as well. And my final slide. Next slide. You'll also find that there are multiple benefits of working with foreign correspondents. You can also use them as panelists and moderators at various other events.
but it's always a pleasure, okay, because most of my working life is involved with the media. Okay, so my work and well, basically my what private life always involves somehow with the media. So it's really good to be back. Okay, and in such an historic place, indeed. Well, thank you, Kap. Sawadi Kap. As Kulitia said, I'm Chapan. Okay, this is my second stint as Deputy Governor for Marketing Communications at the Tourism Authority of Thailand. The first time was 6 years ago, I think. Yeah. So, and then I went into other positions, and now I'm back. And it's good because now, like Kulitia said, it's an interesting time. You know, it's funny, you think that it's after COVID, but there's a lot of infections in my head office at the moment too. So I'm never sure if it's if there is a time for after COVID or before COVID or whatever. But you know, it's always interesting, and that we move forward. I just heard people say the other day that whatever happens to Thailand, the travel industry always bounces back or moves forward, and there will be things to do. Okay, so let's see what is in store for us. Okay, this is my presentation is based on what Kunintius saw, I think, about a month ago. Okay, when we had the Thailand Travel Mart. Okay, so and we have updated a few of the numbers. Okay, so let's talk about Thailand's tourism situation. So this is last year. Okay, international visitors, we got over 11 million international visitors, contributing 589 billion baht. And of course, domestic travel is always very important. Last year, we got 189 million domestic trips, generating even more than the foreign travelers to Thailand. That at 641 billion baht. To put 2022 in perspective, in 2021, at really the height of the pandemic, we got only 400,000 international visitors. Okay, and of course in 21 we had the sandbox, the Phuket sandbox, and other schemes, but the country was just reopening, really. So to get 400,000 was a win for us. But in 2022, things really took a big jump. So we got 11.15 million. Okay. Next page. Okay. Now, this is for this year. Okay. The target for the whole of this year, 2023, in terms of revenue, will be 2.38 trillion baht or million baht. Okay. International arrivals, we are anticipating 25 to 30 million. Okay, revenue of 1.5 trillion baht. Domestic trips, 135 million trips, contributing 880 billion baht. Okay, so altogether, is in terms of revenue is 2.38, and if you focus on the international travelers, we think we'll hit somewhere between 25 to 30 if this current trend holds. Okay. Okay, so just to put that into like a microscope, okay, for the first 7 months or so, okay, 1st of January to the 23rd of July, we got 14.75 million international arrivals. Okay, so that is about, if this figure holds, then we should get, I don't know if we'll reach 30, but at least more than 25. Okay, the 14.75 million visitors generated 613 billion baht. Okay, now the top 5 international markets. Okay, this is from the beginning of spend some time because each of these markets, the top five, they're very unique in their own way. They have their own profiles. Okay, Malaysia. Okay, the neighboring country down south. Many of them would come overland. Okay, drive up from Malaysia, and a lot of them, not all, but a lot of them would stay in the southern part of the country, especially Songkhla province, Hat Yai city, Satun, and or maybe all the way up to Phuket. Okay, but a lot of them also fly across to Bangkok, to Chiang Mai, to other places. But this is a very interesting market because they are far above the second place market, which is China. Now, China is also a very interesting story for this year because we used to get up to nearly 11 million, in before COVID, but after that, you know what happened, right? And the country was, I wouldn't say slow, but was a bit later than others in allowing their citizens to travel abroad. So in the first few months of this year, okay, really not a lot of Chinese tourists, okay, but 1.7 came like maybe in the past 3 or 4 months. Okay, so that's really interesting. Okay, so the numbers are growing very quickly as they can travel more. There are more flight connections. Okay, South Korea at number 3, very, very interesting. They have exceeded expectations. Okay, in a normal year, we would get 1 point something million. Okay, but at this pace, South Korea will overtake those past records. Okay, so I don't know why they're coming. I guess I have to find out. But a lot of them come here for golfing and short trips and for the beaches and so on. But my governor was just saying the other day that it's quite interesting because we have 3 offices in Japan, and Japanese tourists to Thailand so far is numbering about 300,000 or something, while we have only 1 office in South Korea, in Seoul, and it's really performing, quite fantastically, in terms of getting people. Well, of course, not everyone is due to TAT's efforts, but it is showing very strong growth. India, always a very important market, such a huge population with a propensity to travel and spend. Okay, and there are more flight connections with also low-cost airlines. Okay, so the number is pretty healthy. Okay, in a normal year, India would also number about 1.6, 1.7 million visitors. Russia, very, very interesting market. A lot of them came during winter, okay, I'd say October to February and March even, okay. A lot of them by charter flights and a lot of them on Aeroflot, the national airline, okay. Russians are still coming, okay. Now it's basically summer, okay, where they are, and for us as well. So the numbers have dropped off a bit. Until last month, Russia was still number 3. Okay, so but numbers for Russia, for us anyway, it's very interesting. Okay, I think it's quite strong. Okay, as compared to previous years. Okay, so I don't know. You attribute that to what's happening in Europe, I guess, and people just want to travel. Okay, so it's very interesting. All right, so next page, please. The future of tourism. Okay. Okay, so looking forward, ladies and gentlemen, what do we need to do to maintain the pace that we're having or even accelerate it? Okay, so first of all, it's about doing a lot of things all at once. Okay, now the first thing about, of course, there must must be tourism security. Okay, tourism security in this sense it means that the tourism industry must be able to proceed, okay, through everything, okay, and in fact, it is during COVID. It was, I guess, the only thing that kept for a lot of months, anyhow, that kept the economy afloat. Okay, so we have to keep that going. Now, on the screen, you see strengthening the supply chain. Now, this is a very interesting development. I'll give you an example. Before COVID, we didn't really talk to the provincial governments. Okay, we didn't really talk to local administrations. We had meetings with them on and off. We worked with hotels, of course. We worked with the local airlines and regional tour operators, but we really didn't go down to really to strengthen the supply chain. The supply chain, if you think about the restaurants, these local businesses, the SMEs, okay, so you'll notice that during COVID, everyone was on Zoom, okay, was doing online videos. TikTok became this global phenomenon that it is now, okay, and for tourism industry, for TAT, whoever that is interested to move forward, we have to embrace the digital transformation. We have to have a digital life, if you will. Okay, so right now, for example, TAT is working a lot more with key opinion leaders or KOLs, media influencers. They can be anyone. They can be a teenage kid in Beijing. All right, they can be a high-priced celebrity model in Poland, who we have worked with. Okay, they can be family influencers, mom, pop, and kids going traveling. So yeah, we work with anyone that can help us establish and promote us online. All right, so that's one part of the digital transformation, and then of course you have these AI that is coming into play, NFTs, metaverse, what have you. There's a whole lot of things, but we have to be really, if not on top of everything, then we have to go with the flow. Okay, building travel support and tourist service infrastructure always very important, because if we want to have people travel around the country easier, have them stay longer, then we have to work with the government, okay, local and central, to develop infrastructure. Okay, first and foremost, I guess, would be train travel. Okay, of course, domestic flight connections as well. How transportation, basically, even simple things as signage, tourist police security, local guides. These are all very essential infrastructure that we must have. Okay, managing external risks. Now, COVID was first was external, and then it became part of the country. Okay, but what this means essentially, ladies and gentlemen, is just to have a plan B. And in certain cases, you would need a plan C, plan D, plan E, whatever. Okay, so it's risk management. Okay, when COVID hit, okay, the rate of recovery for certain countries, including Thailand's, was different. Okay, some countries were able to open up sooner than others. Okay, we could not wait around for countries to open up. Okay, so we had to find new markets. Okay, for the first time ever, we really focused on countries that we didn't previously go to. Okay, last year I went to a roadshow in Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan. Okay, very enthusiastic market for beaches in Thailand because those are landlocked countries. Okay, we went more into deeper into Vietnam, for example, okay, just to capture more of the market and get, as a diverse range of people to come, okay? And hopefully that will translate into the word that you hear so often about the tourism industry is about resilience, okay? Meaning that whatever happens, we will suffer setbacks, okay? But how soon we bounce back depends on a whole lot of these factors, okay? Now, the goal is to also elevate Thailand's tourism to sustainability. Excuse me. So, you've probably heard about SDG, SDG of the UNDP, Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations. We are also translating those goals into STGs, Sustainable Tourism Goals. Now, sustainability, especially sustainability in travel, is no longer a choice. It's no longer a fashionable thing. It's a must-do thing for any destination to move forward, okay? Because when you become sustainable, that means that you get more people involved, you get the supply side involved to really help you look after the destinations, the products, the services, the manpower. Okay, so it's a really all-inclusive thing moving forward. Okay, of course you have to take care of the environment. That's first and foremost. There's climate change and places are getting hotter. I was in Japan only yesterday and it was so hot. I couldn't believe it. My head was wet all day long. Just walking around Osaka, it was really hot. Okay, but beyond that, you have to take care of the tourism industry, and the people and the livelihood that the industry entails. Okay, and beyond that, ladies and gentlemen, people that travel now, they expect sustainability in one way or another. Okay, they expect that the place that they visit would be, taking care of the environment, taking care of the local culture. They expect that, so we have to deliver. Okay, and I always tell people we have a long way to go. Thailand has really a long way to go, but we have also come very far. Okay, but there's a lot more work to do. We try as much as we can to avoid mass tourism. We try as much as we can to limit the number of visitors in a certain time period at a certain destination. You'll read news about some islands being shut down for a number of months just so the environment can recuperate. Okay, and in terms of economics, it's very interesting. I read somewhere that travelers, they're willing to spend more, to enjoy a sustainable holiday. Okay, so that in itself is incentive for tourism businesses to go the sustainability route. Okay, so if that really is the case, then we should all, do things sustainably. So for TAT, of course, we are a marketing agency. Okay, we have been a totally wholly marketing agency for a while now. We used to also do development. We also used to do tourism business registration, which we don't do anymore. So we're now focusing on marketing and marketing communications. So this is the direction we are hoping to do for next year. Okay, so before we go into that, let's look at our target for next year now, 2024. Okay, hopefully we'll get to, 3 trillion baht, which was the target before COVID. Okay, international markets, we hope to get 1.92 trillion and 35 million international arrivals. Okay, before COVID, in 2019, we got up to 40. Okay, but no, looking forward, we don't hope for 40 anymore. And to really be honest with you, I don't think we'll get 40 anymore. Okay, because there's competition, and if we can get the revenue but not the total number of arrivals to reach 40, that'll be okay. We're going to be happy. Okay. Also, domestic market always still very important. 1.08 trillion baht, 200 million domestic trips. Okay, so both will be very, very important going forward, both sides. Okay, now the name of the game is to create valuable experiences, whether these experiences are for international travelers or for Thai travelers. Okay, now COVID did one thing, I guess, when you couldn't travel for a long, long time. Okay, 3 years, 2 years, or you couldn't travel far. Okay, when you do get a chance to travel, we find that people want to have that really special, unique thing, that they dream about when they couldn't travel. Okay, so whatever kind or whatever experience they have in their minds, we try to deliver as much as we can. Okay, so that means that when they stay at a place somewhere, okay, it should be really, I wouldn't say perfect, but as close to it. Okay, so there must be security, there must be safety, there must be, hygiene. Okay, there must be people that you see smiling faces, and helpful people, professional people that are around to help the traveler get that all important experience. So I know it's easy to say that we want to create valuable experiences, but there's never really a one size fit all formula for that. Okay, it would depend on what experience the traveler is looking for and what experience the destination can deliver. Okay. So strategy for the international market. 5 directions to boost the overseas market. Okay, so I talked about sustainability, and we put this at number 1. Enhance the sustainability image of Thailand. Actually, I'd like to expand that. It's not only about the image, but the actual fact of the Thai tourism industry being sustainable. Okay, the image is one thing. Okay, but you all know that if we deliver on the image but not in reality, then it doesn't work. Okay, it's like any form of advertising. Okay, so we have to develop what is called travel with care, fair income, encourage identity and biodiversity. Okay, travel with care, it means that to create social responsibility for the environment and community. Okay, now we find that a lot of the tourism places, hotels, resorts, theme parks, they're going this route, but we need people to do more. We need to have a larger group of people doing this. Our business do this in a destination. That's not going to work. It needs to be a wider scope of things. Okay, and we find that travelers, they really respond to certain experiences that really they can't do back home, or they think that it just creates a new meaning for them. For example, rather we are successful in getting people to stay even half a day longer, that would contribute so much to the economy. Okay, you may come here and determine, when you first arrive that you would stay here 4 days, but let's say that we are successful in enticing people with this and that, and they want to stay a few more hours, a few more days, then that is in itself a major contributor to the economy. Okay. Offer the local identity as the unique selling point. Now, this is a very interesting shift in marketing because, in the past, to be named something that is local is it's a hit and miss. Okay, sometimes it's a very unique proposition, unique product with a great great brand or great quality to it. Okay, a lot of times it's just a lot of copycat things, very not of high quality, and once you have so many things of the same things, then the value is lowered, I guess. Okay, but right now, take for example Thai food. Okay, if a restaurant or a community can grow something that is really unique to that place and cook foods that also become very unique to that place because of that particular ingredient, then you create a sort of a selling point and also a demand, okay, of limited resources, okay. Thereby, you can really up the value or increase the price, okay. That's what we're after, okay. And a lot of times, those places and even those ingredients and what have you will have a certain appeal, okay, certain characteristics that will make travelers want to visit just because of that. Okay. Now, for 14 years now, we've had this, excuse me, Thailand Tourism Awards. Okay, it's basically a recognition of the best of the Thai tourism industry. Okay, in certain areas, and we got to do more. Okay, we got to publicize the winners more. I think right now there's a new category about sustainable travel. Okay, so we're gonna do more of that. Okay, so and Amazing Thailand. We'll skip that. This is not confirmed. Okay. So that's my evil for not looking at the presentation before I come up here. Okay. Penetrate emerging quality markets to attract the flow of travelers to Thailand all year round. I mentioned that already, but some of these destinations we had been there before. Okay, the Czech Republic, Poland, Romania, Bulgaria, and the current superstar of the travel industry, Saudi Arabia. Okay, as you will, I guess you know the story quite well. Over 30 years of no established, and with flights just resuming just February, last year, and from there it was a lot of people coming. Okay, a lot of Saudis coming. Before COVID, there were Saudis coming to Thailand, but mainly for medical tourism. Okay, to see doctors, to see physicians, to get their operations and so on. So they were numbering about, I think, 30,000 a year. Okay, but since there is this reestablishment of relations, numbers have been hovering around. Last year was, I think, 100,000. Okay, this year we're expecting more, and we'll soon open an office for the first time ever in Riyadh, in Saudi Arabia. Okay. Okay, that will happen, I guess, if not later this year, then sometime next year. Okay, and all the major Eastern European markets are interesting. No direct flights still. Okay, I think one flight just started from Poland, but before that, and for many years, no direct flights. But the growth is quite good, and they stay a long time here. Okay, so I guess when you can't travel easily, when you are able to get somewhere, then you stay a long time, which is good. Numbers for each country are not growing by leaps and bounds, but they're always showing positive numbers. Okay. All right, so going deeper into segmentation for countries, okay, there's, okay, I thought it was whiskey. I don't need honey lemon actually, but nah, that's why I don't go there, so I'll just pretend this is whiskey. Yeah, exactly. I once went to Brunei and they don't really sell alcohol there, but we managed anyhow in the Chinese restaurant. That's why. Okay, that's one of the things I need to tell you about. Anyhow, Fai Oya Rich Himalaya. Okay, Japanese, right? Okay. I should know. Oya rich means people who want to be rich. Okay, this is in Japan, right? So so there's this aspiration value to being an Oya rich, and we try to tap into that. Okay, Chinese couples, that's goes without saying. Maybe they don't have kids yet, but they want to travel. Now it's more about remote workers. Okay, you can work anywhere and travel as well. Okay, this is the segment that we want to target more of. Okay, faith. I guess you pray more after COVID. I don't know. We want to get the religious aspect. Whatever makes you feel more comfortable in your faith. Okay, Indian weddings are always a very big deal. Some weddings would have hundreds of guests. Okay, and to spend millions and millions in for the hotel, for the food, for the shopping. Okay, so that's a segment we want to still keep pushing. Health and beauty after COVID, especially with the wellness. Okay, not medical tourism, but wellness when you want to go somewhere to be protected against illness. Okay, digital nomads I mentioned already, very mobile segment with good spending. Okay, a lot of these would do the stock market, day traders, artificial intelligence people, tech people. Okay, workation. Okay, meaning that they're not digital nomads who travel all the time, but these are people who want to also work and just have a brief escape holidays. Okay. Number 3, seek new partners and expand collaboration with global partners. Okay. So the thing is, we need to find partners that already have customers. Okay, whether they are tour operators, they are online platforms. These are major players. Maybe not globally, but in each country, if you look closely, you will find at least one major player in the online travel business. Okay, for example, when I went to Saudi Arabia, there was one certain amount of money, we put down a certain amount of money, and we jointly promote the destination of Thailand or certain cities here. Promote overland travel. Okay. So flights are very important. Of course, for certain countries, you flying in is the only way to come. But for our neighboring countries, Malaysia, Cambodia, Laos, Vietnam, even Myanmar, a lot of them would come overland. Okay, they may not stay a long time, but at least there's a very good frequency of people who come. Okay, and they shop, they maybe stay a night or two, and then they go back. But the thing is, they come back again, maybe next week or the following month. Okay, to buy, to chill, so we get the frequency. Okay, and you remember when you can't really fly anywhere during COVID, and there's now a really good foundation for car travel. Okay, there will be groups and groups of people driving up from Singapore, from Malaysia, into southern Thailand all the time. In fact, in a few months, we will have a major event for car enthusiasts from Malaysia in Hat Yai. Okay, where we hope that people will drive up to this event. Okay, and of course, train travel is also coming on strong. Empower marketing with digital content, such as utilizing virtual influencers to promote Thailand to Generation Y and Z to Thailand. Like I said, we have to work with these people. Okay, if we're not, you guys, I'm sure a lot of you are mainstream media. You have online presence. Okay, but there are people who have a 100% online presence only, and for their followers are very particular. Okay, they may be in a single market, they may be in several markets, they may be across several segments, and they may be about only one segment. So it doesn't matter. Okay, next month I'll be inviting, or I am in the process of inviting a lot of influencers to come to Bangkok first and then go on trips inside the country. Okay. The main difference between this upcoming trip and other trips is that there'll be a session. It's like a B2B session. Okay. These influencers will be like buyers. Okay. And runs travel companies who will meet these buyers or influencers, and they just discuss business. Sometimes if they click together, they may enter into an agreement whereby the hotels may host the influencers in the future. Okay, for these have a very strong presence. For example, in China, we have a very strong TikTok presence, WeChat presence. In other places, in the UK, in the US, of course, it's Facebook, it's Instagram, okay, YouTube, all the major online channels. We have to have a presence. Okay. Okay, for domestic market, we don't ignore that. Like I said, always very important. And it's the 5F. Okay, actually the 5F, fashion, festival, fight, film, and food, is also for international market. But when you group products into these 5 categories, we find that it's so much easier for people to think of products when they want to do something. Okay, so the 5Fs. Okay, of course, the most popular one would be food. Okay, so we're now trying to highlight regional cuisines. Okay, everyone knows about pad thai and som tam and all that, but right now we are in a very exciting time about culinary tourism. Okay, we can talk about certain provinces and what they have with local ingredients, what kind of food that they can produce only in that place. Okay, so you have to fashion. Uh, I hope everyone has these elephant pants. Okay, I have a pair. I look really bad in them, but it's really becoming a really nice trend. Okay, so people are really enjoying just wearing these elephant pants, and perhaps you see Chinese travelers wearing student uniforms and dressing up in Thai traditional wear. That's a good trend to have. Okay, festivals. The main ones would be, of course, Songkran and Loi Krathong, but there will be others that we are pushing, like the Candle Festival in Ubon Ratchathani, like the Pita Khon Festival in Loi, and also not mainly cultural festivals, but made of Wonder Fruit in Pattaya. Okay, major musical performances. I'm working with organizers to sponsor. Okay, we are the sponsor of, for many years now, Bangkok International Festival of Dance and Music, for example. Okay, we hope to. I need to follow that up. We hope to sponsor Coldplay when they come. Okay, so things like that. It brings not only people, but it creates a really positive image for the country, because if you can hold these major events consistently, I mean, we meaning Thailand, it means that there is security. It means that you have the professional foundation to hold these events. You have the venues that can have them, and so on, right? Fight is mainly Muay Thai, Thai boxing, okay, and it's also growing. Okay, it's no longer just a spectator sport, but people now they are members of Thai boxing camps. Kids, they enjoy going with their parents to train Muay Thai. Maybe not rigorous fighting, but the discipline of Muay Thai, which I find that to be really refreshing. Okay, so there are Muay Thai camps everywhere now. Okay, and film. Of course, we always talk about the beach, right? Which is getting quite old actually. The movie, it's from the early 2000s, but there are films that come here and TV series, Korean, Japanese, Chinese, Western movies that come here to shoot. So we promote those places. Are any of you familiar with the HBO series The White Lotus? Yeah, and they're coming. Okay, I think they will start shooting in a few months. Okay, but they have confirmed. So I think that'll be a big deal. Once people see the story, of course, but also the scenery in the series. Okay. Oh, we don't need this is too much. I won't go through all the reasons. You can look at that in your PowerPoint when I give them to you. Skip. Too much. These girls, they torture me so much.
So you'll be making the presentation available to us after.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah. Whatever presentation you want, I'll give it to you, rather than me talking until 6 o'clock today. Marketing communications. Okay. Okay. So I hope you're familiar with the Amazing Thailand brand. Okay. This has been the official tourism brand for the country since 1998. Okay. It's one of the world's longest tourism brands. Okay. There have been a few changes with the look of the logo and so on, but it's always been Amazing Thailand, and it will be Amazing Thailand for many, many years. Okay. And the domestic side, okay, create your great moment now. Okay, it's momentที่ใช้สร้างได้ไม่ต้องรอ that's in Thai, but basically we always have also a Thai campaign, okay, to boost domestic travel. Right now it's quite challenging because when So in order to entice people to look also at traveling in Thailand, you must always have a very strong and consistent and clear communication campaign. Okay, so we try our best. Basically, what this campaign is saying is call to action. Okay, travel now. Okay, to travel outside Thailand takes more planning, more money. Okay, but if you travel, now you can do Thailand. You can do a lot of places at maybe a lower cost and more gratification. International market. Now, this is a very interesting, I'd say, evolution in the Thai travel industry and how we communicate Thailand to people. Okay, for the first time ever, we are talking beyond beautiful beaches and glittering temples and fantastic food. Those are all there in our communications. But for the first time, we are talking about how we want people to feel, when they come here. Okay, happiness, of course, but right now we want people to have a meaningful relationship. Okay, when they come here, meaning that we invite people to engage with the local population, to talk to the local people, to shop at a local market, okay, to try different unique cuisines, okay, and this relationship, we feel that if we are able to attract people to do these things, then the experience of travel becomes more meaningful to the traveler. Okay. For example, think back when you travel. Okay, when you travel in your past travel somewhere. Okay, if the trip you were on, you were able to interact meaningfully with a local person. Okay, perhaps there was an act of kindness by a local person. Perhaps you were able to converse at length about something with a local person. Okay, you remember that trip more, don't you? Okay, that is the basis of our campaign, to promote meaningful relationship. Now, meaningful relationship can be you with yourself. You may discover yourself more when you come to Thailand. Okay, there will be you and passion. Maybe you like bird watching or scuba diving. So it may be a more meaningful relationship when you are here. Okay, you and local people I mentioned, and you and other things. You and community. You might, if you come with your family, we invite people to open up yourself more to your family and your family members to you. Okay, so yeah, it can be on so many different levels. It can be on multiple levels for the same person as well. Okay. Thai government. Also, there is the economic side. Okay, if we are able to promote meaningful relationships, if people really respond to this way of communication, then we think that you might do two things. Okay, one, you might stay longer because you have developed or you want to develop a meaningful relationship in Thailand. Okay, whether it's with yourself, your passion, whatever, you might stay longer. Number two, you might return for later trips, a future trip, so on and so forth. So that in turn would create economic benefits for the country, whether you stay longer or you return on future trips. Now, this will be a lot of fun. I invite everyone to go. Okay, it will be at the Queen Sirikit National Convention Center. Okay, Thailand Tourism Festival. Lots of food, festivals, music. It's basically the country's largest tourism fair. Every year. Okay, last year was at Lumpini Park. Now we move it indoors, okay, at QSNCC. So, and this is basically to promote domestic travel, but also we find that a lot of expats, a lot of tourists who are here during that time will also go there. Okay, so it's Thailand in a day. You know, you go, you see a lot of what each province, each region has to offer. Okay, and we take great pains to get vendors and businesses from those provinces to be in one place at QSNCC. Okay. Okay, so this is the coming to the end. This is our service to the media here, okay, and elsewhere. TATnews.org made a really good name for itself during COVID, because during COVID, a lot of things were happening. You know, was the country open? Was the country closed? How can you get in? What are the conditions? You know, so TAT News was the first place that many people stopped by to read the news and read what was happening each day. Okay, and we still deliver on up to date information. Okay, or if you have any questions, you can ask the staff about travel in Thailand. Okay, well, we are on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as well. Okay, this year and next year will be years of partnerships. Okay, we want to work with you and collaborate with you to create meaningful experiences in Thailand. Okay, so I mean, moving forward, we can't do everything alone. Okay, especially getting the word out to travelers, and we depend on your support, and we do our best to respond to your queries, to your needs, as quickly and as efficient as possible. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. That's my presentation for today, and I'm open to questions.
Yeah, thank you. That was an excellent note to end on, Chad, because I'd like to think that you'll rekindle your partnership with the Foreign Correspondents Club as well today, and we hope to see a lot more of you here in the future.
Oh, well, I'm always happy to be here. I have a bit over a year to go, so we'll make use of me as much as you can.
We'll make the most of that. Thank you. Any questions, ladies and gentlemen? Yes, please identify yourself.
I'm Marwan Makanmak of Nikkei Asia. Thanks very much for your presentation. I appreciate your breakdown of the various markets from where you're getting inbound travel. But do you have a further breakdown of how much they spend on? My question is not done. How much they spend per head per visit? Because today's Bangkok Post is an interesting reference.
Do we?
You don't have a breakdown?
Not offhand.
I mean, then I'm saying not today, but would your staff have something?
Sure, your wish is my command.
Okay.
We will get those numbers for you.
And secondly, there was also a story that the Thai press reported on a few weeks ago about, I'm not sure whether it is Tourism Authority or another agency that's trying to promote Bangkok as a food capital of the region. My question in relation to that is, does TAT have a breakdown of the variety of restaurants that are, say, in Bangkok, or where you want to expand to push this agenda?
Okay, I don't think we do, sir. Not a breakdown of restaurants per se, but we do have a direction in how we promote culinary tourism. Okay, for example, right now we're trying to promote Thailand as not only a place that has great restaurants, okay, separately, okay? But in everything we do, there is an element of promoting, well, take for example, a destination like Chiang Mai, okay? There will always be an element of visiting maybe the hill tribes or the local museum or something, okay? But I get your point. We don't have a true highlight strategy for culture, okay? I think we are thinking of culture as more of an integral part of what we do rather than highlighting. But I take your point. I take your point. Maybe it's high time that we give due importance to culture. I know you are a very good enthusiast of the relationship between Western and Thai culture in the past, and that's something we are hoping to do more of. Okay. The government question, I guess the best way to answer that is this is a national agenda, the travel industry. Okay, so any government, as long as it recognizes that and continues to give importance to the travel industry as a major contributor to the Thai economy, we're happy. You know, well, we as PAT, we only want that, okay, and other things will follow. But first, you have to have commitment from the government to real contributors of the country. Yeah.
Thank you, Peter. Yeah, Peter.
Peter Jansen, Business Times, Singapore. I think the industry, the local industry, has been a bit disappointed with the Chinese comeback. Yeah, I mean, I know they're number 2 and whatnot, but for the initial months was a bit slow, and I think you said this month finally it seems to be upticking a bit. What's your analysis? Why has the Chinese market been a bit slow in returning? And is it something like, not enough flights between China and Thailand, or is it something more to do with China that the economy is a bit slower than expected? People are saving their money. Chinese do save money, yeah, unlike Thai people. But I mean, or is it something that we can anticipate that the China market's going to be a bit slower than it was pre-COVID? Just to follow up, I wonder if Chinese tourists, there's a possibility of more street protests and whatnot in Bangkok. Have you found historically Chinese tourists are more afraid of that sort of political activity than other tourists, or are they pretty immune to it? Yeah, thanks.
Okay, thank you, Peter. I guess you all already answered a lot of your own questions because it's a variety of factors. Okay, flights, not enough. Okay, the economy is also a factor. The local economy in China. Okay, also, then this is my personal take. Okay, there's another factor which people really don't talk about, but massive drives for travel within the country, So, I mean, I recall I attended a travel fair in one of those Chinese cities. I forgot. I think it was Kunming. And it was huge, and Thailand was only a minuscule part of that fair. Okay, but all the major provinces, they went in force in China, and I think a lot of that would still remain. People were becoming more accustomed to traveling inside the country. Okay, but glass half full, glass half empty, right? Like I said, numbers have been growing very quickly. Okay, and as the demands are there, okay, more flights will happen. Okay, there will be more planes diverted to China, Thailand routes. Okay, regarding political disruption, that will always be a factor, Peter, whether it's China or other countries. But we also find that travelers now, they're smart. Okay, they know that it's not a nationwide thing. Okay, so if there's disruption in Bangkok, they might divert to Phuket. Okay, and vice versa. Okay, so if there's a desire to travel and there is access to travel to a certain destination, they will take it if they want to travel.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
News Agency, thank you very much for this briefing.
Could you identify yourself, please?
Yes, you can hear it. TASS News Agency, thank you very much for this briefing. Flight connection between Russia and Thailand currently are operated by Russian airlines. And that seriously restricts the tourist flow from Russia. So Thailand could attract more Russian tourists if Thai airlines resume flight with Russia. So do you have any information when Thai airlines have they any intentions to resume flights to Russia?
Right. Okay. Not at the moment. We had meetings with Thai Airways last year, and they were really interested in flying to Russia, to Russia. Not only to Moscow, but Vladivostok, Novosibirsk, and other cities which I don't recall, but they were interested. I think what is happening that they still are interested, but it's just that their financial situation will have to improve just a bit more. Okay, so and there's also you said yourself that there are Russian airlines flying the route. Okay, continue to or resume flights to places like Rome, Milan, Madrid. Okay, they used to fly. They don't have flights there anymore. Okay, so Europe would be really interesting for them. I think starting again, they are flying to Jeddah in Saudi Arabia. They want to fly more of that. Okay, Russia. I seriously don't know if they have a concrete plan to resume flights, but I know they're always thinking about it. Yeah.
Go ahead, Dominic. We also have some questions on Facebook, so I'll take them after this.
Yes, sir.
Thanks.
Of course.
Go ahead, Dominic.
Yeah, Dominic for the Nikkei Asia. I was just listening to you talking about the return of Chinese tourists. I think we had nearly 10 million in 2019, quarter of your inbound.
Yes, sir.
The Chinese tourist market is not always very welcome in the sense that it doesn't contribute to the Thai economy in the way that you might imagine. We have this phenomenon of $0
Yes, sir.
tourism, whereby basically Chinese companies are controlling restaurants, hotels, the works. That's a problem for you, and I appreciate that you're a marketing department and you're not implementing policy. But the last time you and I spoke was about pollution in the north, where agricultural products are killing people, practices are killing people, and seriously damaging the tourism industry here. So my question to you is, as a marketing organization, are you going to do a better job presenting what is damaging Thailand's image at the moment overseas? There are lots of things, and I don't want to be too nasty, but I mean, for instance, foreign motorcycle gangs floating around Pattaya does not bring in family business.
No.
So will you have more of a role? Obviously, you don't know what the next government's going to look like in pointing out what could be done by Thailand to make more out of its business legitimately and decently.
Thank you, Dominic. Very fair and very good question. I think right now we work closer than ever before with the tourist police. Okay, so I know it's basically not not possible to address every problem that we have, and there are many, especially with tourist safety and so on. But okay, let's backtrack a bit. With China, with that very unpleasant experience for a lot of people when they come here. Okay, so the Chinese government has really worked with us and has really told us that no, there cannot be $0 tours anymore. Okay, if there are, or if we don't put a stop to that, then they will be compelled to not send people here. Okay, and that is really not great. Okay, that I can give you. Okay, or we can give to people. Okay, a lot of times it's up to the local administration, up to local TAT offices to ensure that it doesn't happen, or if something happens, it's fixed as soon as possible. Okay, I'm sorry, because we unfortunately don't control a lot of the legislation here with Dominic. So, but we I don't know, we work more than ever before with the supply chain. If that helps, okay, at least then we are at ground level to find out what the problem is and so on, and help people find a solution to fix them before it becomes major issues. Okay.
Yeah, go ahead, Lekha.
Hi, I'm Lekha Shankar. I write for the Asian Age newspaper India. Yours was a great presentation and I had so many questions. But I had a few general questions. One was, so you feel this political uncertainty at the moment will not affect tourism in any way? Have you noticed any queries or changes?
Not so far.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then the COVID measures, you didn't speak about, you spoke about COVID, but all that SHA plus and SHA, all that, are you following all those COVID measures?
Yeah, thank you. Those will remain in place.
Will remain.
Yeah.
And the last about sustainability, do you think there'll be more of an effort to use like electric buses or buggies and that kind of thing in the tourism sector?
Yeah, I guess a lot of people would like those, but you need planning, and you need investments to convert things into such you can do it.
Okay, and you as the director of the India office, so you're very familiar with the Indian market. I was just going to ask you, there were some fan trips I went, the wellness tour, the cuisine, the cooking class. Is that going to be promoted for the Indian market? We know about...
We are doing that. Yeah, it's no longer just promoting just beautiful beaches. Like I said, it's about the experiences.
And any new destinations for the Indian market that you're trying to promote? Because they're always going to the standard Pattaya and Phuket, but would you be promoting?
Okay, with India, we at first we try to get them to those destinations that you mentioned. Okay, but then have them also extend to other nearby places. Okay, rather than to promote, let's say, a secondary city directly. Okay. Yeah.
Which are the second...
Lekha, can we give somebody else a chance?
Yeah,
We've
last
already got
question.
5 questions in there.
Yeah. Last question. The second tier cities that you mentioned in India that you visited?
I did visit, but our team went to places like Bhubaneswar, and Pune, and so on. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lekha.
Good afternoon, Mark Yang from Center of Wisdom.
Yes,
thank you for making time to
Thank you.
share the outlook. Tying together a couple of your slides and previous points about sustainability and strengthening the supply chain, my question is about air quality. And a few months ago it was red alerts. So the question would be, is TAT able to work with local governors here in Bangkok and all the way far away Chiang Mai to, on an ongoing basis, sort of address this problem before it comes back again next year, which we know it will?
Thank you, Kumar. We are working with them, but a lot of times it will be after the fact. Okay, and the best that we can do is basically update people on the facts. What to expect, what can you do, just go to Phuket, and Chiang Mai you can go later and things like that. And I know it's not ideal, but at least we keep the people interested. That's number one, and keep the people coming, hopefully. Yeah. Thank you.
Chat, we've got a couple of questions on Facebook. I'll read out one of them. This is from Cindy, Travel Weekly Asia. She says, quote verbatim, Bangkok Post reported on a tourism deficit with Japan for the first time this year, with more Thai tourists visiting Japan than the other way around.
Right.
With Japan outbound market less robust than before, and the South Korean market rapidly catching up as a key source market, is the TAT allocating more resources to South Korea or other destinations in the region? How do you foresee Japan's market evolving in future? Do you anticipate a decline in its significance as a source market?
No, and no. Okay. Japan will always remain a very important market for us. Okay. There is, of course, a downturn at the moment, but when there's a downturn, there's always an upswing. Okay, so it will always be a very good market because the Japanese travelers historically, when they come, they spend and they stay above average. So we have 3 offices there. We will not lower the budget that we give them. Conversely, I think we might even give them more to work with. Okay, it's that important. And there's also this historical relationship between Japan and Thailand. Okay, I know it's the first time that Thais travel to Japan more than the Japanese travel here, but it's a balance that can be addressed. Okay, the imbalance, can be addressed. Okay, so we're not concerned about that. Korea, as Zenyi mentioned, will always be also important, okay, for various other reasons. So resources will be given to our Seoul office to conduct activities, okay. And what was the
That's it.
That was it, right?
Yeah, okay. I have, if there are any more questions, I've got two final questions to round up this evening. One question I'm going to ask on behalf of one of the people who's sitting here, that's Thelma Kay. She used to work for the United Nations in the Social Affairs Division, and she raised a very valid question about the marketing and particularly the facilities that we need to improve to cater to physically challenged people, particularly in view of aging societies in this part of the world. And Thailand is known as being not very well prepared for that area. And you didn't mention it any of your niche markets either. So given the fact that the demographics of that are going to grow, what are you planning to do about that? And then I'll have one final question after that.
What we do, Punyamtiz, is that there are currently several tour operators with these customers, okay, with special needs and what have you, and they do a very good job. And a lot of them go on road shows with us, trend travel shows with us, major events like WTM, they're there, ITB, they're there. And I guess it may be not a very large segment that we go after, but we do help these people to develop products and services. Okay, so yeah, they're always there. Okay, another segment that I didn't mention on screen is LGBT. Okay, growing very quickly, certain needs for them as well, certain places, certain activities that this segment wants, and it's growing by leaps and bounds. Okay, and hopefully, I dream of Thailand having legal things, legalized marriages and so on, which I hope to see very soon.
Okay, good, thank you. And one final question, hot potato, you mentioned Plan A, Plan B, Plan C, Plan D. We've got a simmering political crisis. What are your Plan B, C, Ds in case the situation...
There isn't any at the moment. It's developing. scenario that we are having. So but rest assured, we have plans. It just changes daily at the moment. Yeah, but we will be prepared.
Just to follow that up, how have you learned from previous crises? I mean, there are always extreme case scenarios, like entire airports being shut down, which is quite unique to Thailand, amazing Thailand again. But there are various different scenarios that work out, and I know that you'll have extreme case, moderate case, etc., etc.
Yeah, I guess I tell my team that scenarios may change, but the process is basically the same. Okay, you have to get the word out. You have to tell people what's going on, what they cannot do, what they can do. You have to get the facts out very quickly in systemic fashion, and very accurately. Okay, which we are trained to do. Okay, and if there is such a need that arises, we will do it again. Okay, but it's about maybe the content will change within this, but it's crisis communication, and also it's not only communication, but also have other things in place. If like I said, if you can't go somewhere, are there other places you can go to? To do what, when, and where, that sort of thing.
Okay, but at another level, given the fact that the political parties now generally recognize that the importance of travel and tourism as an economic force, as a job creator, and the fact that the industry is now being seen as an economic savior in the post-COVID period, is there a feeling that perhaps tourism could actually be helping to maybe prevent another crisis from taking place? That people are really wary about creating a situation where the conflict might actually go from spill out into the streets and have a ripple effect that could nobody wants at this stage.
That's the idea, Kunitius. But to be honest with you, we don't really overreach. We think that tourism is a major factor of the economy, but to position ourselves to be this savior of the country, I'm not so sure. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Any more questions, ladies and gentlemen? If not, any more questions on Facebook? We've got a handful of people watching on Facebook. Yeah, sure, go right ahead. This will make this the last question. Thank you. Thank you for all the time you're spending with us today, Kunchad.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Hi, I'm a former journalist, board member here, and now I'm working in hospitality. Just wondering about TAT communications. When you mentioned just now, like crisis communication, when there is news on the other side with media reporting certain problems somewhere, and it might be blown out of proportion, and how TAT is coming up with its own network around the world to mitigate that as well. Yeah.
Thank you. When something happens, the first thing we do is to assemble the facts. Okay, and the facts will determine the course of action that we should take. But a lot of times, it's better to sit back and see how things develop. Okay, a lot of times it is, I wouldn't say pointless, but there isn't an immediate need to jump in and address something. Okay, news will have a way of, will have a life, and sometimes it just dissipates after a while. Okay, if the news persists and it becomes a more serious issue than in its inception, then we either do a few things. Okay, depends on a lot of factors, okay? But the thing is, we always get the facts, okay, as much as we can, okay, to have an informed our executives and the people that will have to answer these questions that you asked with the information, okay, to have a structured approach in replying to people about cases. Okay, for example, there might be a tourist who got injured here in an accident, or met some unfortunate incident here. Okay, so we have to get the facts about what happened and how the case is developing. For example, okay, maybe it involves the police, maybe it doesn't. Maybe it's blown up out of proportion, like you said. Okay, maybe everything is 100% real, 100% true. So we have to find the facts first and then work from there.
Okay, well, thank you very much indeed. I just wanted to make a few announcements before I sign off. Tomorrow we are having, again, as I mentioned, this club is a platform for discussions about issues that take place all around Asia. Tomorrow we are having a panel on the postmortem for the Cambodian election, and day after tomorrow, on Thursday, the 27th of July, we have a documentary screening on a movie called Behind the Numbers, a documentary on the LGBTIQ movement, and it will be you'll have the people who have been actually responsible for producing that movie will also be here to share their perspectives. So a good platform perhaps TAT to come here and also join in and check out some of these areas. So with that, Kunjat, thank you very much indeed, and I also want to use this personally to also extend a warm word of thanks to Governor Yuthusat, on whose behalf you are here today. And really, he's had a very good 8 years, a very challenging 8 years as the Governor of the Tourism Authority of Thailand. And we wish his successor well, and we look forward to seeing her here more often in the future, along with the new tourism minister, as and when that transpires. So once more, our sincere thanks to you for making the time today. And the presentation will be made available, you said?
Yes.
And this entire Facebook will also be available, has been recorded and will be available